Hundreds of the country's top bosses are sleeping rough tonight to highlight homelessness. The Vinnies CEO Sleepout is back for the 17th time, hoping to raise more than $9 million. That was the $9.3 million brought in last year. Let's bring in the Chief Executive of Vinnies, Jack Groot. Jack, thanks for your time. How's it looking tonight? What's the forecast, first of all?
Well, the forecast in Sydney is to get down to about 5 degrees, but given the CEOs will be sleeping on the wharf at White Bay, it's probably going to be a bit chillier, and if there's a bit of wind, even chillier. So we're in for a cold night.
What's the support like this year, Jack? Are you impressed with the number of people that have put their hands up?
Yeah, it's been really good. As we were going to always have a struggle this year because as international borders and travel has opened up, a lot of people do some of their meetings this time of the year in the Northern Hemisphere. So we are down on the number of CEOs, but we've got about over 1,200, and we are actually tracking really well on our fundraising goal. So to get to $9.25 million or so, we're about $1 million short at this stage, but we've got the whole of the event to go, and we hope to exceed that and perhaps get closer to $10 million this year.
Yeah, let's hope so. And during COVID, we had a moment where the homeless were put into hotels and were taken off the streets during that COVID period. And it's made many people ask the question, Jack Groot, why can't we find a permanent solution on an ongoing basis?
Yeah, that is the question, because we showed throughout COVID, when the governments together were actually able to come up with funding, that street homelessness and those most at risk of becoming street homeless actually had a solution. But the street homeless are not the only face of homelessness that we deal with throughout Australia. We have people couch surfing, people sleeping in their cars, not just the rough sleeper in parks and streets. So we need to realise that there's over 116,000 Australians who are homeless today, and that number has been increasing census on census. So we need to actually grapple with the larger provision of social housing in Australia. We need to make sure that there are support services for those people as they do achieve access to housing that then keeps them in their tenancy longer term. But we struggle with another reality now, with the increased prices of housing and the lack of affordable housing rental stock in Australia, in every city and in regional centre. And we saw that spike throughout COVID as people moved to the country, moved to the coast, and affordable rental housing disappeared. Yeah. And in some country towns, large ones in New South Wales, we have vacancy rates of for low-income households of less than 1%. So we really do have a very significant housing crisis, and the word crisis is appropriate.
It is indeed. Yeah.
116,000 who are homeless, but not enough housing.
We're almost out of time. I just want to make this point and get your thoughts on it. It seems to me, and reminded of it, I'm sure you see this day in, day out. It's a thin line, isn't it, between those who are managing, and things can turn really quickly. And I guess it's a reminder to everyone. These CEOs are riding high and so on, but a lot of those people on the streets now were once doing very well themselves. It can turn quickly, Jack.
It can turn very quickly. A poor health episode for someone can lose a job and lose their housing. We have CEO participants who themselves have been homeless, who know the lived experience. So it can be the breakdown of a relationship. It can be being older and for the first time a woman over 55 being homeless. And it can happen for those families fleeing domestic violence. It can happen very quickly, and life can have been quite good and comfortable. And we're now seeing more households under pressure with inflation, with the rising energy bills. We have the ability to pay the rent is a real struggle point for many Australians.
Yeah.
So we're going to see at Vinnies more people at risk of homelessness.
Jack, we wish you all the best for the Sleep Out and hope that that money keeps flooding into your great organisation. Jack de Groot, CEO of Vinnies. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Kieran.